Welcome! Hey, this is the Genesee County Compassion Club show. I'm your host, Jeremy, back in the studios here at allpointstv.com. Man, it's good to be back here. It's been a wonderful holiday weekend. We're just coming back off from Memorial Day. Today is June 1st. Is that right? It's the right date?
June 1st, yep.
Oh, thank you.
I had to give my dog her heartworm medicine today, so that's how I remember.
That's how you know. I know how I know, because I went to Consumers Power today to pay my bill, and the line was like, it wasn't out the door, but it was like right at the door. You know what I mean? Right there.
You should either use that pay on phone service. It's $6 extra, but it keeps you down with the aggravation level down.
It's hard to send money through the phone.
Yeah, but you can do it, use a debit card or credit card.
Yeah.
Or check account. It works for me. That's how I do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I usually forget to pay it until right at the last minute.
Yeah. Well, I think I have a few days left. I'm not exactly late yet, so I'm going to go later. But anyways, stay out of Consumers Power if you don't have to. It is the 1st, June 1st. It is absolutely finally summer. Well, it's still spring technically, but it's feeling good out there. 80 degrees today. It's nice. I know everybody's been working their tail off. A lot of the cannabis caregivers to talk to say they're working on their outdoor gardens, which is fantastic. Now is that time of year. You got to get that stuff in the ground. Don't delay. All right. And with this hot weather we have, it's going to require some extra watering. There's no doubt about it. So, all right. As you can tell, we talk about cannabis on this show. That's what we're going to discuss. It's for medical marijuana here in Michigan. And I'm going to keep you up to date with all the news that's been going on around the world, and also let you know what's happening down in our world, the Genesee County Compassion Club. It is going on right now, I'll tell you that. Today, the reason I'm super excited that it's June 1st is because now we have extended our hours at the club. This is fantastic. So we've got 2 additional hours now at the club that we're open every day. And also in addition to that, we are now open on Mondays. So yes, finally, we're open on Mondays. I know the employees are thrilled. Yay! But I know most of you guys are thrilled because now it makes it easier for you to get to your medication. We're open a little bit later, so those people that are getting out of work don't have to rush quite as much as they have had to over the past years that we've been doing this. So we're thrilled to be able to do so. We've got the staff in place. We're super thankful for that and for them stepping up and making that happen. And super thankful that we can be there to help support you guys. And that's what it's all about. So spread the news. Let people know we're open now on Mondays. We're open up earlier and later, and we're there for you. So that's good stuff down at the Compassion Club. If you haven't been there in a while, it's definitely time to check it out. Make sure you stop into the Holistic Center because they got some amazing food over there. Not going to lie. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, you need to go over there, get a sandwich or a smoothie or maybe a wrap or maybe some breakfast, whatever suits your fancy. But check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right, I got some news I wanted to share with you. We just got done doing one of our charitable events. The Genesee County Compassion Club is served over at the North End Soup Kitchen here in Flint on Stewart Street. And I believe the menu of the day was hot dogs in celebration of Memorial Day weekend. So that's freaking sweet. And Memorial Day weekend. I mean, where would we be without our soldiers and the dedication? I'm not a big fan of the government, but I tell you what, I love our soldiers, and we would not be here without them. That's a fact. So Memorial Day weekend is very important, and I'm glad that we were able to kind of help bring that spirit to the soup kitchen. So that's pretty cool. I hope you guys all had a safe Memorial holiday. And, as the summer festivities get going, make sure you always be safe. I know a lot of folks are getting ready for what's coming up next is the High Times Cannabis Cup, and that's in Clio, Michigan. So that's going to be a big event. You can get your tickets online. Check it out. I always want to throw a little shout out to the High Times Cup. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. It's right here in Genesee County. Who would have thought 10 years ago if you just said, hey, there's going to be a High Times Cup event in Clio? People would have just laughed. You know what I mean? They'd have been like, whatever, man, you're out of your mind. Maybe in Detroit or in Ann Arbor. But no, it's right here in Clio, Michigan, Auto City Speedway. It doesn't get any better than that. They came to you. So mark your calendars for that. And the other big event you want to mark your calendars for is the G3C 710 party. Now, here's the catch. 710 actually this year is on a Sunday. And as you know, we're not open on Sunday down at the Compassion Club. So what we're going to do is we're going to modify that just a little bit, and I believe we're going to be doing the party on Saturday, which, hey, that's better. I mean, it's on the weekend. It's the day that we're there anyways, and we're going to be there for you. So 7:10, we're going to get that party started just a day early, 7:09, and we're going to party down, all right? 7:10, it's all about concentrates. It's all about, educating folks that there's different ways other than just the use of flowers. There's better ways to medicate. And for some folks out there, it's really the only way to do it, is to be able to have other forms of medication besides flowers. And really, our 710 party is a celebration of that, because that's the key. There's a lot of folks out there. Obviously, you go to the doctor, you talk to them about getting your recommendation for medical marijuana. Probably one of the first things that physician is going to say to you is, "You're not going to smoke it, are you? I mean, come on, you can have the marijuana, that's fine, but you're not going to smoke it." And, unfortunately, that probably is the number one way that most patients consume their medical cannabis. But there are other ways to do so, and there are more effective ways. Eating it is definitely way more effective as far as getting it into your blood, getting it into your system, and it lasts certainly a lot longer than when it's inhaled. So eating it is definitely a superior way, but a lot of folks feel like they want that quick access that the smoking provides, and so you can't deny that to them either. But at any rate, we do like to celebrate all forms of it, and the 710, that's what it's all about. So mark your calendars, July 9th for our 710 party, okay? Other events we got coming up down at the club. We serve every month down at the Soup Kitchen. We're glad to be able to do that. We also have coming up this summer is our charity golf event. We're going to be doing this for the Roar Foundation, which is a fantastic foundation down at the Hurley Medical Center. It helps provide books to children that are in the hospital there that need books. I mean, come on, what better thing? We need to get kids reading these days. We need to help sponsor their education and their, growing environment. We want to help do that. We do that through the Hurley Medical Center, through their Roar Foundation, and the Roar Foundation is able to do what they do because of what you do at the G3C. So if you can help support that, there's ways to sign up for sponsorships if you're not a golfer. And if you're a golfer, get a team together. Join up. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can get your sign-up sheets down at the club and get more information at the G3C Facebook page. So check that out as well. It's Genesee Compassion Club. Look it up. All right, as far as events, I think that's about it. So I'm going to move on. All right, I got some news I wanted to share with you. I want to let you know what's happening around in the world of marijuana. There's kind of an interesting article here, and we were just talking about edibles and concentrates and other forms of marijuana. This particular news item goes right along with that, and it takes place out in Oregon. So I think if you're from Oregon, you pronounce it Oregon. Is that right, John? You're a pretty well-read fellow.
Actually, I had a professor at U of M, and he said that's how they could tell the difference between a person who was born there and a person who was like from the outside. We will say Oregon, and they'll say Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah. Oregon. Yeah.
It's like Missouri and Missouri.
Right.
Yep.
And some people
just a little note there, a little trivia.
And some people call it Missouri. So
yeah, I've heard that as well. I think they call that Michigan sometimes too. But anyways, yeah, this news occurs out in Oregon, and the what's going on. The reason I'm talking about it is because Oregon has they have medical marijuana. They also have recreational marijuana, and what they're adding to the list today specifically are edible forms of marijuana for the consumers out in Oregon. So they set up the licensing, the regulations for it. Now they're ready to roll. I want to share this information with you so you can get an idea of what they have as far as their limits, as far as their guidelines for edibles out there. And here, let me read it to you. This is from ktvz.com. You can check it out. It says, starting Tuesday, which probably actually yesterday, my apologies. Starting Tuesday, edible marijuana products containing up to 15 milligrams of THC will be available for retail sale in registered medical marijuana dispensaries across the state to adults 21 and over. So there you go. That's basically the gist of it. So 15 milligrams of THC per item. Basically is the max that you can put in there, and obviously if someone needs more cannabis than that, they're just going to need to consume more than one edible. So not too hard, but pretty simple. And I think that's good type of regulation because it helps promote business growth while also maintaining a certain level of safety and regulation for the consumer. So I think that's it sounds real general, but in reality, we're talking about a substance here that's benign, something that isn't harmful, something that isn't going to ever cause an overdose or any type of death. Like aspirin. Aspirin is far more deadly than cannabis. I know that sounds crazy. After 70 years of propaganda, you probably don't believe me, but it's true. Aspirin will kill you far long before cannabis ever will. And so when we're setting up these limits, even though I might think personally that those limits are unnecessary, I think it's also good to provide information to the patients so that they know what they're getting. And I think it's also good to provide a certain modicum of, how business should be ran. And this is providing that. So anyways, that's what's up in Oregon. We're moving on. All right. I got another interesting article I wanted to share with you. This is another byproduct, if you will, of cannabis. And this is going on in Colorado. Some of you might have heard of this already. This is from Denver. And I'm reading this to you from 9news.com out of Denver. All right, this is Denver Business Journal. Another Colorado brewery is making beer infused with marijuana. So pretty cool, pretty nice little novelty item. They are saying, and this was interesting, we're talking about it in the studio here, one of the guys behind the camera. The question was brought up, does it have THC in it? So in other words, if you drink this marijuana-infused beer, will it get you high? Answer, in short, is no. The marijuana is in the beer. It has been infused. The beer has, whatever infusion process they're using, but it does not transfer the THC. And for those of you that work with cannabis in preparing different edibles and different concentrates and so on, you know that the resin, for lack of a better term, really, the resin that you're working with, the cannabis, the medicine, it's not water soluble. You can't just throw water on it and start breaking it down. You need something that's either going to be fat based, or maybe something that's going to be work is like what's the word I'm looking for here? Starts with the S. Solvent. There we go. Brain fart. So you need something that's either going to pick it up like oil, like a fat. It's going to actually bond with it, or you need something that's going to be a solvent that's going to simply separate it from the plant material and then allow you to have that concentrate. Either way, it's not water soluble. So if you're making beer with marijuana, it is not going to get you high. It definitely could transfer some of the terpenes, so you might infuse it with some of the taste, the aroma, so on and so forth. This particular brewery, from the article, says here that the beer will contain CBD. So I find that kind of interesting. I guess I'd like to see it be tested.
What I understand is hops, which we put in most beers anyway, is actually related to marijuana.
Absolutely. Hops in cannabis are from the same family,
right,
if you will, when it comes to botany. But yeah, I mean, they're very, very close to each other. And I think it might be a nice compliment. So pretty cool. It's more of a novelty thing. I know I just wanted to bring it up because I think it's neat to see these, additional businesses spring up from the marijuana industry that really have nothing to do with the actual consumption of marijuana. I mean, yeah, it does. They're making beer out of it, but I think you get the point. It's ancillary business growth, and that's good. That's a good thing. So if you've ever been out to Colorado, they definitely have an entrepreneurial spirit. It is across the state. It's really an amazing thing. I think that's something that probably Michigan had 30 years ago. Folks, we can bring that back. All right, it's not too late. All right, I'm going to move on here. Next story. This one here is involving a baby, so get your tissues out. All right. This is from krqe.com. Checking out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, Albuquerque, New Mexico does have a medical marijuana program. And this is a neat story I want to share with you about how it's being used. It's every kick, every cry, and every smile of their 6-month-old baby that allow the Nunes family to breathe a little easier now that they're back home. Says here, Amelia was admitted into the hospital just days after being born in December. Doctors in New Mexico no longer able to help. Wow, they got good grammar in this article. The family was flown to the Children's Hospital in Aurora, Colorado. It says here the day that they left New Mexico, they didn't know what to expect or if they were going to bring the baby back with them. Doctors in Colorado diagnosed Amelia with a rare case of epilepsy. And says here, basically, they'd have seizures. I'm not going to get into detail about the seizures, but they're very long, obviously, if they're taking their infant to a specialist in another state. This is an extreme case. Something no one would ever want to see here. But it says here, the family began searching for an alternative. Said they fought with doctors to start Amelia while still in the hospital on a controversial cannabis oil. What could that be? Maybe Simpson oil. Anyways, known to treat epilepsy in children. Although doctors gave the okay, they are not allowed to administer the oil. So according to the family, at 2 months old, Amelia was the first and youngest patient to receive this type of treatment at the hospital. It says after just 3 months of using the oil, the Nunes family got to see their baby lift her head for the very first time. If you've ever been a parent, you know how important that is. And having that happen was ground shaking. All right. Says here, Nicole, the mother, it's like I was kind of like I could tell the doctors, look at what she's capable of, compared to them saying she's never going to be able to hold up her head. So you can see the drastic change here that the cannabis oil made, the Simpson oil. This is a concentrate form of cannabis, and this is something that it's profound. I mean, absolutely amazing. I think it's fantastic that the hospital was open-minded enough to let the parents administer their own medication to their child, under their supervision, so to speak, but, not actually able to administer it themselves, so keeping it legal, if you will. But, hey, they were obviously open-minded enough to say, look, this child needs help, and we're going to do anything and everything that we can to make that a better situation. Here's an alternative that we've heard about. It's helping other people. Let's try it, and let's let the parents allow them to try it, and it was apparently working. So this is fantastic news. I think it's two stories going on. Number one, it's about the cannabis and how it's saving lives and how it's making the difference in people's, a drastic difference in people's lives. And number two, the other story is how the parents had to fight to get the care that they needed for their child. And that's something else that I think has been overlooked in the media. I know it has been touched on in a few different stories, but when parents have to fight to administer the care that they feel is appropriate for their child, there's something wrong with what's going on here in this free country. So just a little tidbit there. Fantastic story. God bless the Nunes family. It's a terrific turnaround. And, it's thanks again to the Simpson oil. So check it out. You can look up Simpson oil online. You can check it out on YouTube. And we have seen amazing results with it down at the Compassion Club with a whole host of different types of ailments. It's not the snake oil, heal all type of thing, but it is something that is serious, that works, and something that is worthwhile checking out.
I seen a woman who was anti-marijuana, medical marijuana. She actually came in contact with a family whose child was suffering a lot of these seizures, and they would have multiple seizures a day. And since being on this some kind of oil or some kind of medical marijuana, some good ingredients of medical marijuana in it, actually it went down from several a day to a couple a week. So, I mean, and then people don't understand those
phenomenal results.
Yeah, see, those epileptic seizures, people don't know. Something that can be so severe, the brain damage can happen.
Oh, absolutely.
And they don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand
Very
that.
Similar to like a stroke victim, which cannabis has also been shown effective to be helpful in preventing strokes. So there's a whole different world out there when you really start to research what are the different benefits of cannabis as medicine. And, there's a lot of folks out there that are suffering from diseases and ailments, and they're not finding the relief through traditional Western-type medication. And, I think it's something that it should be promoted more, quite frankly. Anyways, all right, moving on here. Next story. This is in Toronto. Now, if you've been keeping track here, the Canadian government has got a new Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Supposedly, he's a pro-pot kind of guy. But I guess we're going to have to see, because here's what's happened in Toronto. The Toronto Dispensary Coalition, and you can check this out at www.marijuana.com. The Toronto Dispensary Coalition, which serves as a governing body for medical cannabis clinics across the GTA, is steaming mad at the cops and fighting back. There have been 90 charges that have been laid against the staff and owners of 45 dispensaries that were all basically raided, busted in downtown Toronto here just recently. And so this dispensary coalition, they're fighting back. They're trying to get some justice served. They're trying to get the charges thrown out. These businesses are operating, according to the standards and practices in their town and in their city. They were providing illegal means. Obviously, there's 45 of them. They're not all the same. It's different business owners. This is something that was obviously permitted. And no one, according to the local media there, was really calling for anything to be done about these. There was no social outcry. There was no public concern being voiced. And yet the police obviously felt it was necessary to go in and raid these 45 different businesses. So certainly a blow to the cannabis community there in Toronto. We'll have to see what happens, and we'll keep you updated with this story. But I think it is quite interesting how this is going on right after Justin Trudeau's recent election. So I think we have to be careful what we wish for in our leaders and have to realize that, everything they promise on the campaign trail is not necessarily going to come true. So it's what they want. And, you still got Congress and stuff like that. And I know Canada's different than us, but yet it kind of operates the same way if you think about it. So, all right. Next tidbit of news here. Let's see what else I got here. This is actually a story here from our producer, if you will, John, shared with me, and I want to share it with you because I think it's kind of interesting. This is dealing with extracts and so on. So let's talk about this. This is also in Canada, so check out cbc.ca if you want to. And the title of the story is Marijuana Derivative Shatter Poses Risk Policy Challenges. So obviously we're talking here about the use of BHO or butane hash oil, known as shatter, dab, wax, booter. It's got a whole host of different names nowadays, as the kids are calling it. But anyways, what we're talking about here is concentrate. And according to the article, and according to a lot of different news, basically they're thinking of it as marijuana on steroids, if you will. Well, really what it is it's the contained concentrated resins of the plant along with the plant material that has been basically reduced down. So, it'd be like if we put salt in this bottle of water and then we let all the water evaporate out of it and the salt was left in there. It's kind of like that, all right? It's not real complicated. But at any rate, people are getting all in a hype about this, and there are some valid concerns that we have to point out. So in this article here, I'll go through the words with it here. Basically, it says, with the potency, along with the dangers from its production, shatter is offering police and policymakers a new set of challenges, perhaps particularly as the federal government moves towards legalizing marijuana. Of course, we're talking about Canada here, so don't get your panties in a bunch. All right, it's the highly variable THC concentration that you see where a lot of people are getting into danger, says Matthew Young, a senior research and policy analyst at the Canadian Centre on Substance Abuse. Says here, they don't really know how much they're taking. Without knowing how much they're taking, they don't necessarily know the effects it's going to have on their mind and body. So this is what Mr. Young has to say about shatter. Strong marijuana derivatives like shatter are nothing new. This is from the article. But shatter has been drawing more public and police attention in recent months because of the potential for explosion as it is made, using the volatile solvent butane to extract THC from marijuana shake or plant leftovers. So here, they're basically relaying to you in a very rudimentary form what they think happens as far as how marijuana is processed, how butane hash oil is processed. All right, we're not going to get into breaking them down and making them look silly, but just know that there's a lot more to it than that. Anyways, obviously there's a concern when you're working with anything that's going to be flammable, certainly something like butane. So I think that is something that we have to address today. There's been multiple cases that have occurred here in Michigan. It's clear that the BHO, the concentrated form, whatever you want to call it, shatter, wax, dabs, it's useful, no doubt about it. It has taken over in the medical marijuana world, and people are finding it to be extremely effective and to be able to be used in ways that they previously weren't able to. They've been able to find relief for certain ailments that previously just using the regular forms of cannabis did not provide. So I think that right there is a testament to the usefulness of the product. I think what we have to call into question is the production of it, and we have to start putting our own self-regulation around how we're going to do this. I think simple steps can be put forth, such as like ventilation. I mean, simple things. In cases where we have seen homes go, blow up or a room blows up, and there has been an accident due to BHO processing, obviously these people are the bad apples. And what we need to realize is that just because there's a couple bad apples doesn't mean the whole world is doing it wrong. And I think that's what we need to present to the media, to the general public, is allow them to know that, hey, look, yeah, there's a few kookballs out there that didn't do it right, don't do anything right, and they screwed themselves up. And, that happens. We see it every day on our public roads with the way that people drive. So let's take this into, a certain context and realize that the majority of folks out there are doing things the right way. They are properly ventilating their areas that they're working in. They're making sure that they're getting 100% return so that they're not leaving any types of solvents in their material when it's done. People are taking great pride in their work, and they are self-regulating themselves by going back afterwards and having that material tested. So I think that is a key component of making sure that we are being compliant, and also not just compliant, but being responsible caregivers and a responsible marijuana industry, showing that self-regulation really is the key and that we don't need some government stepping in and pinpointing every little thing that we do. Take, for example, that Oregon story that we just talked about at the beginning of the show today. That type of regulation, does it work for you? Is that what you want to see here in Michigan? Do you want to see something more stringent? Do you want to see something more that has more rules laid out, or do you want to see no rules? Think about that and how that would affect your business, because as we move forward here in Michigan, your input is going to be necessary and it's going to be key in developing what our future laws are going to look like, hopefully. So, and that's the big thing. We got to stay involved. So, at any rate, those are the news stories I wanted to share with you guys this week. That's what's going on in the world of medical marijuana and marijuana in general. One more thing I wanted to mention on today's show. I have had a tip and been told that the Michigan Legalize, MI Legalize campaign is today turning in the signatures for MI Legalize. So if there are any of you out there that just still have any signature sheets laying around, you got to get them in there. You got to get to the Capitol today, right now, get in your car, go. But at any rate, we'll be paying close attention to this in the future, letting you know whatever public announcements the group makes. All I can tell you is that I know today's the deadline. They're handing in the signatures today, and I wish them the best of luck. I'd like to see democracy happen. If anything else, I think that's the coolest part about this, is that the people are stepping up when the legislature didn't have the guts to do so. The people are speaking out when the legislature's mouths are closed. And that is one of the most beautiful things about our country, and that's what makes Memorial Day so special. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you had a great week. I hope you have a wonderful summer as we move forward here, and I hope you catch me here next week at allpointstv.com. Make sure you check out all the other podcasts here. They have amazing shows. They'll keep you in tune with what's happening here in the Flint area, right here in Michigan, and it's just the best thing ever, getting your news from real people. All right, thanks for joining me here on the Genesee County Compassion Club show. I'll catch you here next week. See you.